coming to check me out over here, man. Y'all are the bestesses. The bestest is. What's good? Anyway, what does Fat Joe and Tyler Perry have in common? I'll say one thing that Fat Joe and Tyler Perry have in common is that they're super rich and that they made a big, gigantic splash in the world. So today we're going to talk about what's going on with the two of those guys that have been in the news, and it's really a crazy situation. But I would say that Fat Joe has, like, you would consider the streets in his like that support him. You know what I'm saying? I would say that. You know, the street supports Fat Joe. Way. So what they did is basically they set themselves up. So what they did is basically they set themselves up for a big old scenario with them people on their heels, and that's just what they did. So what can you say about it? You know what I'm saying? They made these people who in their circles look at them as if they're some kind of bogus people, and who's to say they're not? You know what I mean? See, that's the thing about celebrity. Like, nobody really knows who's telling the truth, who's lying, who is faking. Nobody really know. And we as fans, we try to rock with the guys because we support them. You know what I'm saying? We've been rocking with them for years. There go Joey Crack right there in some of his better times. You know what I'm saying? And the situations in his scenario, we're dealing with these people coming after him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure he don't want that. You know what I'm saying? But it's the scenario he find himself in. But when you out here and you get so much money and you start disrespecting people and treating people in certain ways that they don't like, they're gonna come after you. And that's really what they dealing with right now. I'm going to put my microphone on. Going to put my microphone on. But I'm chilling in this direction because the breeze is real super. But you put yourself in a scenario like that in Tyler Perry, it's like a shock. It's like, what the hell? Now, obviously, somebody that wear a dress all day, every day, is going to be sort of a conversation of what the hell going on. Don't mean he actually doing what they claiming, but it is going to be that kind of conversation. Like, you wear a dress all the time, and this is how you kick it on a daily basis. Like, what's really hood about you? But obviously, we know that you're not supposed to talk about a person and they desires and all that stuff they got. I mean, only Diddy is allowed to be done like that, but everybody else, you're supposed to have respect for them and not really dog them out for what they choose to be on their sexual desires. But when you see that come out about Tyler Perry and it's a white guy, you talking about shocking. It's like, dude, I thought you was, like liking black women, and you got all these black women in your movies and whatnot. I would have never thought that bro was on that. Never. You know what I'm saying? But it's the truth. And the guy basically is into white guys, and he got with one and kept him around and all this stuff for years, gave him jobs, supported the dude. You know what I'm saying? And ultimately, it looked like he is the freak and the guy is the good guy. And it's like, what the fuck just happened? I know Tyler Perry wasn't expecting that, but that's what happened to him. Now he's sitting up here looking like a straight mock because he came as to some dude who wasn't his friend, and couldn't wait to see him get hurt and all this shit. But he trusted the guy. So it's no telling. But Medea made him so much money, and he been so successful off of this job. You know what I'm saying? Of playing Medea in movies and whatnot. That's like no way to know that if he's actually that kind of person, if he gay or nothing. But obviously he is. I mean, there's no way. Because what man gonna do that? What man? I feel weird with this nigga picture behind me and his mouth open. I mean, come on. And I'm just podcasting and streaming and shit. I'm not no celebrity or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But it just make you wonder, like, why would you want to be all in this guy's face like that, Tyler? What make you think that he a cool dude for you to be in his face? It seems weird. But when you see how it come out, and now you know that obviously he was talking to this dude, having some kind of relationship with the guy, and it turned ugly. You know what I'm saying? Now the man want his name, $260 million, and that's crazy. So it's gonna come down to who lying. So that's why I said I labeled this "Who's Lying," because who's lying about what's going on? Like, which one of these guys is telling the truth? Which one of them is lying? And most likely, it's going to be the millionaire is going to be lying because these people have power over other folks. And so, if you got power to get people to do what you want them to do or convince them to do things that they might not have done in a normal pattern, then you're going to be the one that's taken down because it's your power that's making them do that or making them be around you. Like the guy talking about Fat Joe, 4,000 people that he had assaults with. Come on. Now, it does beg the question, if you got 4,000, why didn't you stop at some time and be like, yo, this enough at 1,000? Why didn't you call the police at 1,300 or 2,000? So it's obviously going to be questions in the other direction. But it's like, you can see a lot of the top guys in the industry are being taken down by, I believe, their own hands. This is people you vetted these people, you had these people in your circle, and then more likely it came down to money. Like if you would have just gave these people money, it would have never came down to that. So who's lying? The question is, you are lying. The question is that simple. The millionaire is lying because these people wanted money. And if you got money, why would you go give it to a lawyer than just not give it to the person who got this problem with you? So obviously you're gonna be the person that's lying. Now, did you fly this person across the country to go be sexual with other humans? I don't know. We don't know that. But that's what they claiming. They claiming that you forced them to do these things, videotapes behind it. Everybody is having the same fall. And now you got Medea, who's lying? $260 million for some dude, but obviously he's white, so he could come with a price that's so big and so outrageous that it'll make Tyler Perry be like, let me just give you 2.6 million, okay, 20.60, whatever. So he could try to fight back. But at the end of the day, it's bad for him, man. So when you say who's lying, you really asking the question to the millionaire because that's what they're gonna have to come and answer in court. Whether they do this where they do it out of court, whether they do this where they don't have to show up in court, they're gonna have to do this to the courtroom. They're gonna have to speak for themselves to the folks, and the folks is not gonna be liking it because they gave you the money. And so they're gonna look at it like you're using your money to abuse people who are less fortunate than you. So who's lying? You are. Who's telling the truth? They are. They're gonna look at it and say, these people could have went and got 9 to 5s. These people could have went and got regular jobs. These people could have went and became somebody in life, but they stood around you and they wasted time in their lifetime, and this is what they claiming against you. And there's no reason for us to not believe it. See, a lot of times in those scenarios, the people say, what did this person has to lose to accuse you of this? So that's why I say who's lying. Because what reason would they accuse you of this? Other than being a disgruntled employee, which is legal to be, you could be an employee who don't like the place where you worked at. That's not a criminal activity. So they can castigate you, put negative information about your name about there. They can put a Yelp out there. They can put a Google review out there if they don't like your job. You know what I'm saying? So it's just ways now. They can get on LinkedIn and say, I ain't like working at that place. And this is what I experienced. So also they can sue you. They can go to a lawyer and say, hey, they had promised me this at this time frame and they didn't do it. The only thing that's making it so loud is that these guys are actually celebrities. They like big name people. So we want to know, are you aligning with the millions of dollars? Do you get the millions of dollars and then you get regular people around you and you just abuse them and make them do stuff that they normally wouldn't do? You holding food from them, you holding money from them. The guy said he would threaten him, Fat Joe would threaten to leave him in other countries. So that would question, why would you keep going? You know what I'm saying? But he felt like, I'm a childhood friend. I've been knowing this guy since I was a kid. And really, that's stupid because this dude would leave you in another country. That would be so fucking, I would be so afraid of that, personally. I'd be like, what? You leave me in another country? You will never see me again with you again because I'm going to be scared as hell of some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But they chose these brothers to be their friends and their brothers. And you see how all that stuff played out. It really didn't work out for them, because now they sitting on the sideline trying. And the other guy suing Fat Joe only won like 20 million. He don't even want a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying? But the stuff he's claiming is outrageous. Like the claims came out yesterday that he tried to get 50 Cent murdered. And it was a whole plot. They was trying to ride down on him to go murder 50 Cent, and everybody was in it. That was Fat Joe buddies. They had some beef a few years back. They quelled it, and they cool today. But at that time, it was like that. And I can remember being in Chicago, where I'm from, when everybody was all trying to choose who they was going to be with. And there was a time frame when hip hop was so serious, and then you had to figure out which side you was going to be on. You know what I'm saying? And I obviously chose 50 Cent because that's just somebody who I like more in music. I think a lot of people chose him, but there's a lot of people who chose Fat Joe as well. And eventually they was able to come together ultimately and become friends again. But now this is coming out. Now you got all this information about Fat Joe trying to get 50 Cent killed. What? Well, what happened? Well, because that was probably just undercover now that the guy wants to sue. So now it's out in the open. Like, yo, so 50 Cent, Rich Platt, he was like, oh, Snappy trying to get me killed, boy. But is it true? See, this is, again, who's lying. All of this stuff comes down to who lying. From the P. Diddy case to Lil Durk to Fat Joe to Tyler Perry, it all comes down to who's lying. Because if any of these people can be found out as liars, just like if P. Diddy case, they rest his case yesterday, the defense. The prosecution's still going, but they said in their minds, we've proven that you can't prove this case. Y'all can say whatever else y'all want to say. So in the years to come, that's what's going to have to come down the pipeline with Fat Joe and Tyler Perry. They're going to actually have to go to court, or between now and that date, they're going to have to pay. They're going to have to pay these people some kind of fee, which is going to pay the lawyer, it's going to pay the guy, and it's going to pay for mental anguish. And then sometimes in courtrooms, if you get found guilty, they make you go and admit to the whole place what you admitting to in the state, or they'll read it in court. If you don't want to do it, they'll read it out loud. You took this person's whatever in a bedroom, blah blah blah, because they convict you and they want it to be on the record. So they just not gonna keep it low key. They be like, no, read this out loud in front of whoever in here, the witnesses, and you sitting there like, damn. So actually pleading guilty for something, putting money down to shut something up, is not necessarily good because this stuff go on the record. Now, if anybody will sue you in the future, they can go and say, yeah, well, he pled on this and he said that he was agreeable on that. And now people can just run your money right out your hands. So these guys really got a big problem because were they the ones lying? Were the people that they had around them liars? We all know that celebrities lie. We know that celebrities lie. They fake, they phony to keep their name big, to keep their names popping. These are the people who actually was working around them to help bring their brands together, bring their projects together. So they'll know them more personally than we do. And like the guy said, he was at Tyler Perry's house because he was drunk. And Tyler Perry told him to go up in his bedroom. And in his point, the guy came to Tyler Perry came to the bedroom and climbed in the bed with him. And from what the guy's saying, he said, no, I don't want this. But could you come back to work for somebody who did you like that? Let me know in the comment section if you could come back to work to somebody who you spent the night over their house when you was drunk, and you can go back to work Monday like nothing happened. Or can you show back up to their house with somebody, maybe a new situation, and you back at their house? Can you do that? I'd be shy. I'd be like, no, hell no, no, no. Where y'all going? Oh, no, no, go ahead, go. No, no, I'm cool. What happened? No, I'm good. No, y'all go ahead. I'm tired. I got to sleep. I would do anything not to go back to this scenario because I know for a fact that scared the hell out of me. A big grown man, 6'4". How you gonna fight this dude off you? You know what I'm saying? And whether it happened or not, again, who's lying? Let me know in the comment section who's lying. We got to get down to the bottom of this. This is gonna be a hood investigation. We're gonna figure out who is lying in this case. Is it the plaintiffs? Is it the defendant? Because the defendant is gonna be Fat Joe and Tyler Perry. The plaintiffs is going to be these two people claiming that they did this to them, that forced them to do this. And the funny thing about it, both of their last name is Dixon. The guy who's claiming Fat Joe did something, his name I think is Anthony Dixon. The person that's coming after Tyler Perry, his name is Derek Dixon. So could you imagine sitting in the house and you see a big gigantic case coming out about about Tyler Perry, and you sit in the house like, this is my chance. This is my chance right now because they just came at his name Dixon, my name Dixon. We got to do this. And now he threw a case against Fat Joe within 2 days of Tyler Perry case being called out. So it's really an anomaly to think about, and it's something to kind of quell your brain on because it's like, to me, I question, do you want to be a millionaire? Do you want to be rich? Because this is where you're headed. This is where you're going. Ultimately, you're going to trust people however you meet them. It's your business, whether they grew up with you or whether they people who you met on the road. You're going to trust humans. And that trust can turn into these scenarios where somebody could say you took advantage of them, you disrespected them, you assaulted them, you did something bogus to them, and now you got to come to court. And you remember, if you haven't heard about The Game, he supposedly was on a show. He met a girl on the show. He met with the girl after the show at a club or a nightclub or a drink, wherever, a bar, a coffee shop. He met up with her after the fact. After that fact, him meeting up with her, she left and claimed that he touched her inappropriately. Went to court, but he never showed up to court. So by not showing up to court, so many times the judge be like, default judgment, which means now you got to pay whatever the judge say. And the judge says $7 million. So now he's stuck with a $7 million judgment against his life, meaning everything. Sometimes you might think it's a joke, but they coming at him saying, we want your house, we want your cars, we want your music stuff, and everything don't come to the courtroom, it go to her. And if anybody pay him any money and you didn't tell us, we coming after you. So people got to actually tell the government before they actually send money to the game, or the government gonna come after him. So ain't nobody gonna be on your side on this shit. So when Fat Joe and Tyler Perry be caught up in this situation and they actually got to go pay the fee, if they don't pay the fee, it's a problem. It's a problem. The lawyer is gonna come and or for the plaintiff, and he gonna say, hey, I ain't got my payment. Where's my money? Because after this case was over, I'm supposed to still get paid. So that's why I say when it comes to Fat Joe and Tyler Perry, they really in a bind because this also kills your brand when it kind of get people to give you deals. See, when you building a brand, you needed to always have a certain kind of level of stature in the game, a level of prestige in the game. Even if you like old dirty bastard or rest in peace to him, or you somebody that's just got a grimy, you still have to have a level of prestige, meaning that you can speak English, meaning that you can sign contracts, meaning that you'll be on time to places. It's a lot of elements that go into that. So if this stuff is something that's making you have a mental anguish, if there's something that making you really want to lash out on other females because somebody around you the wrong way or the right way, this will make you act funny when it comes to contract being deals. So Tyler Perry, Fat Joe, they'll lose contract deals because people will be less likely wanting to be in circumferences with them. They'll think that if I'm around this person, he might do something to me, or vice versa. Tyler Perry, they might think if this new person around me, they might try to be over here trying to get some information, record my conversations, anything. So being a millionaire is a lot to it. It's not just, and again, who's lying? Why do we care? Why do they care about who's lying? We only care about who's lying because we fans. We chimed into these guys. I've been listening to Fat Joe music since the 1990s. Never imagining somebody was going to claim him like this. But it's the truth. It's a fact. Tyler Perry, 1990s. He came out like 97, 98. And I've been rocking with him ever since as far as being a movie maker. So he's inspirational to somebody like me who was actually a filmmaker myself. He's inspirational. So when you see stuff like this come down the pipeline against him, it's like, what the. And then it's a dude. It's like, ooh, that's salacious in his own right. And don't mean the guy telling the truth. But that's salacious in his own right. Like, damn. So you up here mixing up with men? And you know, sometimes when people be into that stuff, they be with men who will keep the secret. Like, I'm not gonna say nothing, you're not gonna say nothing. But damn, you got with a person who will put you out there too. And so that's another thing that make it kind of crazy because we didn't know that about Tyler Perry. He just got a kid. He had a child. So when you think of him having a son, you thinking, oh, he gonna be playing football with him, tell him how to run, and be like, this how you lift weights, and look, this how you talk to girls, and look, and this how you be in a movie. Like you gonna be the main star in my new movie. You know, whatever you assume that you will be doing this if you got a $200 million bank account and all this in the world. But he probably got more money than that. But my whole point about it is that, and then you hear this guy coming out saying you spent it out of his house and he tried to take advantage of you. You can't trust nobody. You cannot trust nobody. So, a question again, who's lying? Get in the comment section. Tell me who's lying. I need to know. I want to know. I want to know who's lying. Who you think is lying in this situation because Tyler Perry just put himself out there so bogus, and now you got to make new movies, and now you got to make new films, and now you got to make new storylines, and we all trying to figure out what's going to happen with this storyline. Like, what is the ultimate goal in this? That you put yourself out there in a bad way, and now all of a sudden you getting what you putting out there, and now you getting what you got back, because sometimes that also happens too. You are after a certain person, you blew them wrong, and then karma come back to you, and all of a sudden you can't fight it off because it's what you're supposed to happen through karma. Like you did this to somebody. Is that true? Is that how it work? I don't know. I don't think nobody actually know, but I believe that it can happen like that. Now, as far as Tyler Perry go, multi-million dollar billionaire, you could lose your whole building, your whole motherfucking lot with all of that shit in it. You could lose that if you hurt somebody and treat them foul and it's found out that it happened for real. You could lose that because the people that say you don't deserve it. Just like in P. Diddy, bad boy been a fucking record company since I was a kid. But today it's defunct. So Tyler Perry could lose everything just from hurting somebody. The same thing with Fat Joe. He could be the next P. Diddy. You could be the next dude going down from hurting other people and thinking you're gonna walk away smooth. And you know, a lot of people be coming at Fat Joe. You got Big Pun family. You got old boy, what's another Mexican dude out there who rock with Big Pun, or Puerto Rican dude. They rock with, man. They don't like Big Pun. They don't like Fat Joe. They feel like he left them stranded, like you did us foul. So when you see stuff like this happening, people looking at it like it's actually supposed to be happening to you because look how you treated people. You see what I'm trying to say? So sometimes stuff like that come back to you, and you don't even know it's happening like that because maybe you thinking you did what you had to do and you had the right pretenses. You might not be believing that you did nothing wrong to nobody. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, they not rocking with Fat Joe on this. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that it's somebody who he knew for over these 20 years and he calling you a petty, it's scary. It's scary. It's like so much information coming out. Now you done came out to 50 Cent talking about you was gonna kill him. 50 Cent could have helped you with your damn lawyer fees. He could have talked to you at the time you was dealing with this. You could have used 50 Cent to help you deal with some of this shit. But the fact that they coming out saying that you tried to hurt this nigga, you was trying to kill 50 Cent, boy, it's nowhere around that. It's nowhere around it. You tried to kill 50 Cent. How you gonna win now? You know what I'm saying? So it's like that's one of them things. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn. So 50 Cent, this multi-millionaire, billionaire street dude, a literal street dude from the hood, South Jamaica, Queens, came into the game dissing everybody, ready for war. And Fat Joe gonna take him down? Fat Joe gonna kill him? I don't see how. It didn't work. Fat Joe made friends with 50 Cent. They became cool. And it's all a good thing that happened. And I can remember being a fan of them dudes, listening to their music, following their music, and being such a fan. Even just 50 Cent when he came out in the early 2000s, how my city was, how hip hop was, the concert scene, everybody was going to the shows at 50. And then you had Kanye West. Kanye West had his like a hip hop backpack event, lifestyle rapper, and then you had the street dude, 50 Cent, who was straight from the block. He reminded me of where I grew up on the south side of Chicago. He from the south side Queens. And it was just like, man, and he was doing his thing, like the lyrical content, his whole approach, his whole conversation, everything was crazy. He had a crew, G Unit. It took over the world. First, it just took over, man. It took over. It was like we couldn't believe we was hearing it. Then you had Kanye West, obviously from Chicago, doing his thing, but he was grabbing another element of the people, and that was what he was doing. But we was fans of 50, boy. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't see down the line nothing happening to him other than it coming from somebody who he really was nefarious and an enemy with. I didn't see Fat Joe as an enemy to the extent of trying to kill each other. I didn't see that. I didn't see it. You know what I mean? But I guess, you in New York with somebody and it's a beef and maybe y'all know the same people or messages getting back and forth to each other. Maybe that was the real scenario behind me not really knowing those guys. I didn't know them personally. You know what I'm saying? 50 Cent and Fat Joe. But they was beefing, and that beef turned over into hip hop, and eventually they quelled it. But now you got this situation where it's saying that Fat Joe was trying to kill 50 Cent, and it's like, what the fuck? Why? Because I was a hate. Was he mad? What was that? What was it? Like, what the fuck? But because obviously you was a celebrity, you made it. You didn't have to go fuck with no 50 Cent. Like, what the hell? But 50 Cent, again, could have been somebody who he could have utilized and got help from today. But by killing the relationship, saying negative things about trying to hurt him, ain't going to work out. And it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So now we had to look down the pipeline to see what's going to happen. Is 50 Cent going to beef with Fat Joe now? Is Fat Joe gonna go to jail for doing these negative crimes? And they said he even did something with a minor. That's gonna be no way you can look at that. I don't even know how some all this came against him. You know what I mean? It's like celebrity stuff. It's like people just you're a celebrity, so anything could pop out at any moment. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's safe. Nobody's on the inside scoop. Nobody's gonna be just a celebrity and nothing happened. It don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like you outside, so that means anything can happen any day. So I mean, and now to see him being caught up in this crime situation where he could actually, I think he's doing a civil suit at this point, but we all know that civil suits could turn into criminal suits if so be it, if they claim it, if they put it out there like that. You know what I'm saying? If they find out that the crimes that you were accused of in the civil suit was legitimized, then they can also come back and try to convict you or even file charges on you or even get a grand jury indictment on you for the stuff that they was talking about in the civil suit. So all this stuff is crazy, and what should Fat Joe have just gave these guys the money? Because I think it's like two guys coming after Fat Joe, and they used to be employees, but I think they combined their cases to make it be just one, like a class action, and then now they coming after him, and They make announcements when you make all these big moves, like Fat Joe been rocking with Rock Nation. He been kicking it with Jay-Z and all of them. So it seemed like he actually should be, you know what I'm saying, financially in a good situation. So this would be a good reason to want to sue him now, because it's like you straight, you with the top dudes in the industry. Like I don't care how close y'all is, I'm finna go ahead and put my suit in, and I want to get me some money because what you said to me. Because again, you an employee who's lying. Is Fat Joe lying because he told you to do something that's the job you didn't like? Is the plaintiff lying because Fat Joe was disrespecting him or making him do stuff that was egregious or over the top or disrespectful? What was it? Well, who was lying? Because we got that's what we're going to ultimately find out. Even in the case of Cassie and the other girl, who's lying? We seem like a lot of times it's the females who was lying because we haven't had a conversation from B Diddy yet. We don't know what he got to say. He didn't have to get on trial because on the stand because the defense rests. And if the defense rests, that means he don't got to get up on the stand and say nothing. I got a big old mouth just flew in my house. I'm trying to see how.
These damn ACs.
Oh, the AC.
But you
He
ain't
he
got
got,
properly sit.
but he got. Do he have that one on? I don't think he got it on. But anyway, yeah. So as we see that these guys going to be living in their mansions and they're going to be trying to figure out how to get back to sanity and trying to get their name out the press, because that's another thing too. You can't even make moves because people going to be looking at you like, whoa, hey, that deal we was going to close, let's pull back on that a little bit until this stuff die down, because I don't know what's going to come about this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say what they saying about you is right or wrong, but look, let's just, if you'll give me a chance to give myself not so quick to just lock in on this. And now these guys probably got deals that they was not expecting to crash and burn. So these people who know this about you, because these are people who actually know you. You know what I'm saying? They're not being necessarily sued by strangers. They're being sued by people who was in their circumference, just like P. Diddy, by people who are personal with you. They know you, they laugh with you, they hung with you, they was with you. And so you know, they know your routine. They know your schedule. They know what you eat. They know how you like to hang out. They know the foods you like to eat. So these are the things that's going to be hard to push. Wait, okay. These are the things going to be hard to push and stop. So I got to get ready to jump up off of here to make this move. I appreciate y'all watching and subscribing. Y'all my people. Love y'all. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Who is lying? I'll holler at y'all in a minute, man.